Good morning. Welcome to White Bear Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm Reverend Jessica Clay, the lead minister here. My pronouns are she, her. We are a community of youth, adults, and children of many diverse theologies held together by covenant, not creed. Together we share the values of courage, reverence, and compassion. May you know deep welcome and belonging in this place as we come to the end of a heartbreaking week and gather on this holiday weekend to answer the call of love again and again. We know that the struggles of life are affecting many right now. This service is different than our typical services, so if you are visiting, just know that. Keep coming back. You'll get more of a flavor of who we are. This service will be outlining a framework to guide what our denomination is choosing to focus on right now. And we here at WBUUC want to know about what's affecting your lives to guide our framework of how we do church. So those in the room will find a survey in your order of service. Those on Zoom, the link will be shared online. You're invited to fill it out during the service. In the front pews are baskets with pens and note paper. If we could pass those along each section now, that would be great. Thank you. You can take a piece of paper too, because there's going to be some questions for you to think about during the service if you need it to take notes. You're also invited to take notes on your order of service. And the greeters will collect them at the end. And I'm going to give more background on these surveys as the service progresses, so stay tuned. To share a request for today's meditation, please place it in the chat box if you're watching online before the opening hymn, or add it to our meditation bowl, which is over there in the Soulworks Center. And please gain consent before you use someone's full name. Also, if you need, this service is a multi-generational service, so if you need to fidget or find things to occupy your hands, you are welcome to go over to the Soulworks Center or move around as your body needs it. Tend to your body and your heart during this service. Welcome to any visitors with us today. We're so glad you're here. Aren't we glad our visitors are here? That's right. Let's give a wave to all who are watching online. And we invite all to attend our in-gathering Sunday service next week here in our sanctuary at... That's why we say it at the get-go. It's our last one service Sunday. So in-gathering is all one service, so we're all cozy, which means I'm going to talk about parking later. So next Sunday, 10 a.m., our last one service Sunday before moving back to 9 and 11. Also, what are you supposed to bring next Sunday? Water from where? Anywhere. You've got it. That's right. It's our water communion service. And it will be a joyous day, welcoming back Reverend Jack and our new intern, Caswell Burr. I know, it's very exciting. In the spirit of love and care, welcome to our church. Together we grow our souls and serve the world with love.
Good morning. My name is Logan Dom, and I use the pronouns they, them. This past June, I had the honor of speaking at the Unitarian Universalist General Assembly as a youth representative during a synergy service, a worship dedicated to amplifying youth voices. The theme was, "Another World is Possible." I flew to Baltimore on June 18th and spent 5 days with UU youth and adults from across the country and beyond. I was the only youth from Minnesota to attend in person, but I quickly discovered that UU youth are everywhere. New York, Chicago, basically anywhere that has good coffee and social justice. Meeting other UU kids was incredible. Until then, my UU circle was mostly Minnesota-based. At GA, suddenly I was surrounded by peers who challenged my ideas, supported me, and occasionally convinced me that eating ice cream counts as a spiritual practice. It does. In youth sessions, I learned about good trouble, a phrase from civil rights leader John Lewis. It means doing what's necessary to fight injustice and speak truth to power, even if it ruffles feathers. In other words, sacred mischief. We talked about community building, inclusivity, how to create safe spaces, especially for trans and non-binary people in an increasingly unsafe world. Again and again, we came back to the truth that it is not enough just to talk. We need to act, whether that means marching in the streets or, let's be honest, even just remembering to email our legislators. And while the conversations were serious, we also laughed, played games, explored Lexington Market, proving that resistance work and fun can absolutely share the same space. Somewhere between the deep conversations and the late night silliness, we created a space where I could truly be me. Then came Friday night, the synergy service. I spoke for 8 minutes about UU youth, imagining a better world. The UUA says over 32,000 UUs participated in General Assembly this year. Now, I don't know if all of them came to the youth service, but standing on that stage, it felt like they were there. At first, I was terrified. The audience was a sea of strangers, but then I saw familiar faces. Reverend Jessica, Amy, Nico, Bob and Janet Hansen, my WBUUC chaperones, our former youth coordinator, Mark, even Reverend Rogers, Reverend Luke, and Reverend Sarah. I realized the room was also full of people who loved me, supported me, and wanted me to succeed. I remembered what it means to be UU, to make space for voices to be heard, and instead of fear, I felt empowered. When I finished, I realized something had shifted. Speaking at GA felt like stepping into adulthood, not just as a UU youth, but as a UU leader. I light this chalice for Nico, who made this opportunity possible, for Reverend Jessica and Amy, who kept me grounded the whole trip, for Bob and Janet, my honorary grandparents, for those 5 days, for the UU adults who shepherded me through adolescence, sometimes more patiently than I deserved, for the UU youth at GA who held me up, laughed with me, and let me be fully myself. And for the greater UU community, here and across the country, who amplify youth voices and remind us that belonging can feel a lot like joy. Please join me in the opening words. Hand up there. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is this law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. The hymn is in Gray Hymnal, thank you. The Gray Hymnal number 113, Where is Our Holy Church? We're only doing verses 1 through 3.
I'm so happy that so many of you chose to come this Labor Day weekend and you didn't take church off. Thank you for that. So glad to see your faces. Does anyone need an order of service with a survey in it? Are we out? We're out. We need some. Amy, would you mind, please? Thank you. Great, we will get more. We have blessings of abundance this morning. Amy's gonna, Artis has 2. We need 2 down here in front. Artis, please. Every one person needs a survey. And they'll make some more copies so that everyone can have one. So as we heard from Logan, I sound a little loud. Am I a little loud? Yes. Carla, would you mind turning me down just a hair, please? Thank you. How's this? Is that better? Okay. So as you heard from Logan, they went to General Assembly and had their mind blown, and they promptly preached the good word, as we will hear later in this service at General Assembly. But for those who don't know, General Assembly is the annual gathering of Unitarian Universalists. Since the pandemic, it has gone to a format of in-person one year, online the next year. So next year it will be online, and then the year after that in person. And this year it was in Baltimore, and many of us went and participated. And at how many people here have been to a General Assembly in the past? Does everyone agree at General Assembly? No. Does everyone agree in our congregations? No. So how do we all come together behind something then? It's a struggle, right? We talk about it, it's a bit of a struggle. So as the UUA, which is the Unitarian Universalist Association, was approaching this General Assembly, they created this framework to guide how we do our work together. And they've been slowly rolling it out over the past year, doing different cohorts. They brought it to the Senior Ministers Serving Large Congregations Conference. They're preaching it in different congregations. I talked about it at our one of our both State of the Church conversations in May. And it's really to talk about these big questions that are guiding us, and then in order to figure out what direction we're going. Because how many people in here are passionate about something? Everyone, right? But do we all agree on that something or things? I mean, they all matter. And how do we prioritize where our energy is? So this service is going to outline the framework that they proposed. And much of the offering today, much of what I'm sharing is from a workshop that they have put out for congregations to do. So as Unitarian Universalists navigate the realities of escalating authoritarianism, climate crisis, and seismic shifts in our religious landscape, we know two things for certain: that our transformative, liberating faith is more relevant than ever, right? And that if we want to stay relevant, in the midst of all that has shifted around and among us, we also need to transform ourselves, right? Little less agreement there. Okay. Whether we're talking about the pledge drive, ministering to our young families, our aging buildings, or partnering with our neighbors for justice, UU congregations are navigating many of the same issues, but are not always in dialogue to share wisdom, learn from one another, and innovate the future. Have you all found that to be true, especially longtime members? We're all kind of siloed in our little spaces, right? So this Meet the Moment framework, Artis has more orders of service for people that need them, and Stephen's upstairs. Does anyone upstairs need more? Does everyone have a survey upstairs? What about down here? Please raise your hand and keep it risen. Thank you. So Meet the Moment is a framework to support Unitarian Universalism, our members, our leaders, our congregations in navigating the current context collaboratively. Where do we get if we're going alone? Nowhere. Where do we get if we're going together? Someplace. That's right. It's designed for sharing wisdom and resources and for co-evolving our practices in ways that allow us to effectively, faithfully embody our timeless values in this present moment. So in order to align our energy both within our congregations and more broadly across our faith, UUs need to develop a shared understanding of the realities that we're navigating. We also need to hone our ability to identify the most urgent needs and important opportunities, and the things that really deserve our attention and resources. And then from there, discern how our UU values are calling us to respond. Only when we have done this foundational collaborative work as individual congregations and as an association can we dive into strategy planning, experimentation, assessment, and recalibration that are needed to truly meet this moment. So today, as I've said during this service, we'll do some reflection about the specific realities of the moment for our congregation, the needs and opportunities that exist for us in this moment, and how our values are calling us to respond. And as I said, this Meet the Moment framework comes out of our Unitarian Universalist Association. UU congregations are doing this work all over the country. And we're going to watch a short little 5-minute video for a little bit more framing to get us started, and then we will live into the questions together.
We often call Unitarian Universalism a living tradition, a faith grounded in abiding, transcendent values whose structures and practices continually evolve to meet whatever moment we happen to be living in. Across time, Unitarian Universalism has offered clarity and moral courage in direct opposition to the death machines of authoritarianism and violence and fear. Our faith is life-saving, and through history, we have been powerful agents of liberation and moral imagination when we have aligned our energy and acted decisively together. Unitarian Universalists are feeling called to that kind of impactful, shared work again, because the stakes of this moment are so incredibly high. But we don't yet fully know how to do that. Not our members, not our congregational leaders, not the UUA. The landscape has shifted immensely, even from 10 or 5 or 1 year ago. So it's not surprising that some of the structures that we designed for living out Unitarian Universalism in other eras are not calibrated for this moment. Our justice organizing against white Christian nationalism in 2025 can't use the same tactics we did for Black Lives Matter or civil rights or suffrage. Families whose kids are digital natives, who were shaped by the pandemic and who are programmed 24/7 with activities, those families have different faith formation needs than their parents and grandparents did. The post-war church model that depended on massive volunteer labor and pledges from members with reliable, stable incomes, that's not able to sustain our congregations anymore. So yet again, Unitarian Universalism is facing a reckoning. We know our values are an antidote to fascism, to extractive capitalism, to xenophobia and anti-trans violence and climate devastation. And we have to evolve, to sunset what's no longer serving us, to deepen into what is working well, and to innovate new solutions with courage and creativity. Meet the Moment is a framework to help Unitarian Universalists do this together, to bring the right people into the right conversations at the right time, to make sense of what we're witnessing, to identify urgent challenges and important opportunities, and to figure out how we will show up, grounded in our values, with the skills and partnerships we need to be impactful in shaping change. Now, to do this, the UUA and other partners will be offering virtual and in-person opportunities for Unitarian Universalists across the faith to dive into data, to hear from experts and innovators, to grow our shared assessment about the moment we are navigating and what is happening. We have created facilitation guides to host Meet the Moment conversations about the topics that are most urgent and important in your own congregations. And starting in the fall of 2025, our most creative, most faithful leaders from across the UU ecosystem will be offering wave cohorts, practice groups where people will be invited to learn and innovate and practice new ways of embodying many aspects of our living tradition together in these times. The threats and the challenges are immense, but so are the opportunities. Unitarian Universalism is ready to meet this moment courageously, skillfully, with love at the center. Will you join us?
The first question to guide this work is, what is the moment we are in? I know. I know. It has a different impact this week, right? Right. As Reverend Ashley said in the introductory video, the context has shifted for our entire faith. We're all facing similar political, religious, and congregational issues. And at the same time, we all don't necessarily agree about what's happening around us and why, not even in our own congregation, and certainly not across all of our 1,000 UU congregations across the country. So we're going to begin by building some common understanding and analysis. And so as we sit with our first grounding question, what is the moment that we're in? It sounds really simple, right? All of your minds went to one immediate place. But I would bet that our various ages, roles, cultural backgrounds, and identities mean that we have a variety of perspectives about what's happening around us. And we hope that collectively there will be enough agreement among us that we can lift up some defining characteristics of this moment. And what's true is, we could also spend quite a bit of time talking about the moment we're in nationally and globally, right? That could take many, many hours. And all of those are layers to our context, but we're going to spend a few moments thinking about our own local context, starting with this moment for us here in Mahtomedi, for the cities and towns that you all live in, for Washington County, for St. Paul, for where's my people from Wisconsin? I know there's people from Wisconsin here. There we go. So thinking about your own local context, what is the moment that we are in for it? So you're going to think about local, then you're going to think about our close neighbors and partners as a congregation, and finally we're going to think about this congregation itself. So we're going to do 3 quick 2-minute reflections. So this is why we passed out paper and pens. If you want to write them down, you can also write them down on your orders of service. So first, I want you to take a minute or two and think about what is the moment we're in for Mahtomedi, Washington County, St. Paul, Twin Cities, Wisconsin. What's the moment we're in? Take a moment and think about that. Think about what's happening in local politics, economic or social or trends, events of the past week. And now you're invited to think about our closest partners or neighbors. For example, like, who do we in this congregation have a relationship? Moose Jaw, North Star Youth Center, Beacon Housing, Tubman Center, Isaiah, Pro-Choice Minnesota. Who are the people that we have relationships with here in this congregation that we are a part of supporting Interfaith Action Network? And what is the moment for them? Think about major events, campaigns, happenings, shared goals, and projects that are a high priority among these groups. And if you don't know, it's okay. But just take a moment and think about that. And then lastly, for this question, think about our congregation itself, our members and friends, our children and youth, leaders on the board and other groups, our staff. What is the moment we're in, nested in the context of those other levels that I mentioned? Think about governance projects and priorities, building and maintenance needs. Shout out to my building committee. Love you all and the good work you're doing. Major programs and commitments, trends in membership, financial realities, lay leadership needs, ministerial and staffing context, spiritual needs of members of all ages. What is the moment we are in for this congregation itself? And now I'm going to invite you to share your reflections. Amy and Logan, the mics are down here, are going to walk around. Amy, would you mind? With microphones. And if you are someone who speaks up every time we do a speak up in service, I'm going to invite you to move back and let maybe other people who need a little extra nudge speak up. And if you're someone who doesn't normally speak up, but you have things to say, please raise your hand and share in this service. John, you had your hand up. Will you start us off, please? Thank you. And you have to basically like eat the microphone for it to hear you.
I love eating a microphone.
There you go.
For question 3, our needs and wants exceed our resources always.
Our needs and wants exceed our resources. I'm just going to take some notes. Who has the mic now? Go for it.
Number 1.
Is that one on?
Okay, I'll eat it. Tasty. Number 1, transition, awakening, discouragement, and shock.
People can keep going, will I write?
Number 1, does that sound okay? Okay. People without homes, ICE, substance use disorder, gun violence, and isolation.
What was the violence? Gun violence.
This is for question 1, but works for all 3. Fighting the fascist regime, that's hard to say, to maintain our standards of decency and compassion. And then the congregation is also youth development and how this climate is affecting our youth.
So number 1, but this could apply to all 3, uncertainty about the future.
Uncertainty about the future. Does that resonate with people? Yeah. I invite us, when people are sharing, if you agree, maybe do some little snaps so we can support each other and agree. Who else? Tina.
Hey, I'm Tina, they, them. I think about, for number 2, I think about our relationship with the organization Transforming Families. And so very concerned about safety for trans youth and their families.
For those who don't know what that org is, Tina, would you mind just giving a one line to tell people who that is?
Yeah, Transforming Families is provides peer support for parents and caregivers who have trans youth in their families, and also there are groups for the trans youth led by trans facilitators. So the parents get to have their space to talk and share their worries and share their woes, and the young people get to be together and share their woes if they want, or like have fun and talk. So it's just really, really, really helpful.
Thank you.
I put this down for number 3 for the local effect, but the struggle for safety and security is invading everybody's home.
You put that down for congregation? Okay. Struggle for safety and security. What was the last part?
Is creeping into everyone's home.
So this addresses question number 1, but I think it's appropriate to all the areas. And I just wrote, the moment we are in locally, nationally, and internationally, is a moment of crisis and opportunity. Now that the Band-Aid has been ripped off of perceived deep wounds, particularly of the alt-right, which exposes the anger, hatred, and hurt that's been fomenting beneath the surface, we finally have the opportunity to address these exposed issues. But we cannot fix what we don't acknowledge is broken. We also must acknowledge our shared humanity, what binds us together despite our deep differences. Ironically, the Chinese symbol for crisis is a combination of the word danger and inflection point.
Thank you. Is there anyone upstairs? We can run, oh, Logan's over here. And is there anyone upstairs who wants to share? We can run a mic up there. Nope, there's a reason you all are in the balcony, right? You don't? Totally fine. Okay, who's over here who'd like to share?
To question number one, I think we're living in a moment of extreme uncertainty and rapid change. One marked by confusion, widespread gaslighting. It is a time where exhaustion runs deep and cynicism dominates. I think in this moment, our congregation needs community. We need to be present for one another, creating spaces where we can grieve together and also lift one another up, drawing strength from our shared presence and care.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, I don't remember how to spell cynicism, but I'm just demonstrating that I'm human to you all.
I have two things for number one: political catastrophe and fascism.
This is in relation to question number two. Some of the agencies we have partnered with include Beacon, Solid Ground, MICA, North Star Youth Center, and the White Bear Food Shelves. And all of these are hopeful to me, and yet threatened by all of the threats that have been mentioned so far.
Right, and probably affected by federal cuts. Yes, yeah.
For number three, concern for the safety and security of this congregation and this church.
Number two, the organizations or initiatives that...
Hold it real close.
For number two, the organizations or initiatives that are part of the out-the-door collections on various Sundays.
And we'll do two more and then we will move on.
So for the big circle, the unreliability of, or the instability of our institutions that we've relied on, particularly in governance, who's electable now, and does it seem like the people who are electable are undependable and those that are dependable are not electable?
Yeah, okay, we're going to do two more after that one. Over here and then in the far back, Amy, if you don't mind, please.
This would probably be number one, and this is not in the anti-choice way, but choosing life over Second Amendment.
Say that again, I couldn't hear it.
Choosing life over the Second Amendment.
Choosing life over the Second Amendment.
What troubles me in general with regard to all of these points is the fact that we are often talking about the symptoms of what is wrong as opposed to the ways of curing those problems. And I find that very troubling. In other words, we talk about the abortion issue without saying how to solve it. And in my view, the way to solve these problems and the way to get rid of the symptoms that are so disruptive to this society is education, very simple education. We have to learn to trust each other. We have to learn to talk with each other. We have to learn to educate one another as to our various points. This morning alone, I had an email exchange with a man, not here, elsewhere, who complained bitterly about the symptoms. And I wrote him back and I said, for Pete's sake, what do you do about it? What are your plans for solving these problems? And he had no answer. It was all a joke or a non-responsive plea to my question. So I think we really need to restore talking with each other. We need to restore education. Just simple education, starting with very young and ending with us here in this room, including some of the not so white hairs. But I think that's very, very important. And I'm not sure how we get there. But one of the primary ways is we trust each other. We trust each other to have reasonable points in how to solve these problems.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That leads right into our work that we're going to be doing this year that is part of that survey that I'm going to talk about. And just to say a couple of answers from online: economic uncertainty, destruction of our government and constitution, difficulty with fundraising, yet more need for their work, the earth, climate change, aging membership, supporting people who are running for office that reflect our values, exhaustion from living in a county that doesn't reflect our values. For the congregation, prioritizing the context of financial constraints is a defining feature of the moment. We need to do work on who we are and who we are called to be. And someone else said, our congregation needs more volunteering to meet our social justice goals. Also, we need a new microphone you don't have to eat. Let me tell you, I have said that to Erin so many times, and she says, these are really good mics, and she's the expert. So there you go. And so we're now going to transition to a time of prayer and meditation, because we are still doing some typical parts of our service as we explore this framework. So I invite you to settle into your seat, cast your eyes down or close them. And during the meditation, actually, let me switch mics here. We're going to name the prayers of this community, and then our spoken meditation this morning is from Reverend Nathan Walker. And I invite you to join with me one of the verses of meditation on breathing after each verse, and I will put a hand out to join with me, and that's going to be breathe in, breathe out. Will you sing it with me now? Breathe in, breathe out. Thank you. So we hold in care this morning member Tim Perfect, who has been in the hospital after complications from a procedure. We ask for healing thoughts during this service today and during the days ahead, holding Tim in care. We are also sending healing thoughts to Margie Schmidt's niece, Natalie, who's having surgery again tomorrow. Sending care to Kevin, who is in hospice. We're holding prayers for a 34-year-old woman in hospice care due to liver failure and kidney failure. We're holding in care the family of Officer Carl Hagen from Le Sueur Police Department. And we're holding in care someone's sister-in-law, Sandy, who was a teacher and principal at Annunciation School for 30-plus years and instituted the locked door and child trainings for emergencies. And so as you see, I have 3 candles here that I'm going to light for the deaths that happened this week. We hold all in care who is learning to live with this grief and trauma and horror. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Now is the time where you can name the prayers on your heart this morning. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Breathing in, I am aware of my pain. Breathing out, I am aware that I am not my pain. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathing in, I am aware of my past. Breathing out, I am aware that I am not my past. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathing in, I am aware of my anger. Breathing out, I am aware that I am not my anger. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathing in, I am aware of my despair. Breathing out, I am aware that I am not my despair. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathing in, I am aware of peace. Breathing out, I am aware that I am worthy of peace. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathing in, I am aware of love. Breathing out, I am aware that I am worthy of love. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathing in, I am aware of joy. Breathing out, I am aware that I am an agent of joy. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathing in, I am aware of hope. Breathing out, I am aware that I am an agent of hope. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathing in, I am aware. Breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Thank you to my impromptu sopranos for guiding that beautifully. So, question 2, and yes, this service is going to go over an hour, so if you need to get up and take a bathroom break, take care of your body, or a caffeine break. Question 2, what are the most urgent needs and important opportunities of this moment? We have an opportunity today to find out what the specific needs are within your lives. This survey that's in your order of service, gentle reminder about that survey, will guide your staff and church leadership in our priorities this year. This survey was created by Isaiah, which is an organization dedicated to building power for a multiracial democracy, caring economy, and thriving planet. This survey will help to guide their platform that will be created with input from communities like ours and others all across Minnesota. As we fill out these surveys, not only does it inform us of the needs of people within this congregation, but we're able to compare it to the East Metro area of St. Paul and see how it compares, and to the wider state as well. And once we get this survey information, which can be completely confidential, you do not have to put your contact information. We will be talking further about future plans with connecting with Isaiah to organize in advance of the election next year, which is a very important election. So when we talked about symptoms versus solutions, filling out this survey is part of the solution, part of creating a solution together. But in order to create the solution, we need to know what are the needs and priorities within this community. So please, gentle reminder, fill out the survey. Our greeters will be collecting it at the end of the service. So our second question is, what are the most urgent needs and important opportunities of this moment? And if you don't have a pen to fill out your survey, this is a great opportunity to meet your neighbor and ask them for one, or Artis has some too if you need them. So 2 minutes now to think on this question. What are the most urgent needs and important opportunities of this moment? As you ponder, make sure you keep the context pieces we discussed during the first question in mind. The political moment, the national, religious, and UU moment, as well as our local towns and cities and our closest partners and this congregation. Within that context, what are the most urgent needs and the unique, important opportunities of this particular moment for this congregation? And try to think about needs and opportunities within the next 3 years. So take a couple of minutes and think on that now. Once you have something formed, I invite you to turn to a neighbor and share with them. And please notice if there's someone sitting alone around you, and please try to invite them in the conversation. Sometimes I think we're in such a rush to find someone that we don't realize there's someone sitting alone right next to us or right around us. So take a moment and share with each other. You're each going to have about 2 minutes each. So try and keep it as brief as possible. Please share now, and those watching online, please share in the chat box. Right, come on back, please. And in the interest of time, we're not going to share openly in the room those answers, but I encourage you to continue having these conversations as we guide our work this year. I will share some of the online thoughts on most urgent needs, instruction on how to deal with and move past being overwhelmed, stressed, and fearful so we can move into engagement and action. This is why this framework was created. Partnering with other Metro UUs, successful pledge in 2026 to avoid cutting staff and programming, engaging members to clarify our identity and purpose, improved sense of belonging and ownership. Someone said, go to protests, call your congresspeople, write letters to the editor, talk to your neighbors, things like that. So lots of suggestions, and I'm sure you all had lots of things around the most urgent needs of this moment. It's time for our offering. We're still doing it. Couple of announcements. What's next Sunday? Right. What does anyone know what else is happening after water communion? Ice cream, because we love ice cream, right? Almost as much as we love cake. And there will be non-dairy ice cream. And the big band is going to be playing, which is very exciting. Yes. So we expect a lot of people. So we are asking those who are able-bodied or those who are not but could use a shuttle to park at the district center down on Mahtomedi Avenue. The men's group will be operating the shuttle. Can we give them a round of applause? They will be operating it. No. Hold on one sec. The district center's that way. The shuttle will operate from 9:30 to 10 and return folks to their cars from 11:30 to 12. And if people stay longer, it's usually easy to ask for a ride back to their car. It's about a 7-minute walk, too, if you need a little walk. And we would like to save the parking lot for families with young children, visitors, and anyone with a physical need. And parking on neighborhood streets is plentiful. Just be careful about driveways and mailboxes, please. What's everybody doing this Friday night? That's right. What are we going to sing about? Do we need a sing-along about peace and love right now, or what? Maybe a little rage. One rage song? So this Friday at 7, all are invited to a Love and Peace sing-along in this sanctuary. Lastly, who loves our beautiful flowers every Sunday? Shout out to our flower team for all of their care. You can sponsor flowers in memory of someone, in honor of someone. The form is in the e-news. Pick a week or weeks to sponsor those. You can sponsor poinsettias during December. Please do sign up online. So ends our announcements. Each week we collect for our offering plate. The money collected goes to support the work of this church in serving our mission. There are a couple of ways you can give today. You can use text to give. The number will be on the screen momentarily. You can give on the website, or you can place cash or a check in the offertory basket. Thank you for your generosity and faith in this life we live together. The offering will now be gratefully collected. We're adaptable worship leaders here. So as Logan shared earlier, they shared a sermon at General Assembly. It's not your 20-minute sermon for those that have dates after this. It's a 10-minute piece that is very powerful. It was shared in the Synergy service, which is the youth service, which commemorates bridging youth and talks about, what was the theme, Logan? Another world is possible. So I invite you to receive this offering from Logan as we all received it at General Assembly.
Good evening. Okay, good evening. There we go. My name is Logan Dom, and I use the pronouns they, them. I am wearing a black suit with pink heels. I have brown hair that's bleached, and I'm wearing glasses. I'm 17, just finished my junior year of high school, and I'm a Unitarian Universalist. I am also the child of a Vietnam War refugee. Like many high school students, I read The Grapes of Wrath this year. You know, just a lighthearted, feel-good beach read about economic collapse, mass displacement, and generational trauma. But seriously, it's a book about survival, about people who keep going even when the world tells them they don't belong. And that felt familiar. The story follows the Jodes, a family forced to migrate across the country during the Great Depression. It's filled with big themes: poverty, injustice, immigration. But one of the most memorable moments is about a turtle. Steinbach describes this turtle crossing a highway. One car swerves to avoid it. Another swerves towards it, flipping it onto its back. But the turtle doesn't give up. It rights itself. It keeps going. The turtle is more than just a turtle. It's a symbol of quiet, stubborn resilience, persistence in the face of cruelty and indifference. It's flipped over, like so many people. It's flipped over, left to struggle, but it doesn't stay down. Like the Jodes, like so many people who are pushed aside or told they don't belong. It keeps moving forward. And even when they don't know, even when you don't know exactly where you're going, there's power in continuing the journey. Lately, I felt like that turtle. Life can feel like a long road full of obstacles. Some people, like the first car, help me along the way. They show up, stand beside me, believe in me. But others, like the second car, try to knock me down for being queer, for being the child of an immigrant, for believing another world is possible. I started going to protests this year because I'm scared. Scared that the country I live in is sliding towards fascism. Scared that people in power are trying to erase people like me. Erase our stories, our truths, our futures. And I know I'm not alone in that fear. Coming of age right now feels heavy. It's not just about growing older, it's about waking up to how much is broken, to how much is at stake, but also to how powerful we can be when we don't give up and when we work together. As a UU, I've been taught that each person has inherent worth and dignity, that we are all connected, that love, justice, and truth are sacred. Sometimes I feel like a turtle on a highway. Sometimes I wonder what kind of adult I'm growing into. I hope for a world where I don't have to explain my existence, where queer kids feel safe, where immigrant families feel welcome, where compassion leads and truth uplifts people, not crushes them. I want to build bridges between generations, between communities, between what is and what could be. In the grapes of wrath, the Jodes are driven from their land and met with slurs and suspicions. They are the target of words meant to dehumanize and divide. It's heartbreaking how little has changed. We're still using language to control, still building walls, literal and metaphoric, to keep people out, still treating anyone different as dangerous. And yet so many of us are trying to live with love and dignity. So I ask myself, what's next for a queer teenager in America? What's next for the children of immigrants? What's next for a country that seems to be forgetting its own history? As you use, we might not have all the answers, but we believe in the free and responsible search for truth, in the power of community, in the radical hope that even when the road is hard, we keep going. The end of the grapes of wrath is uncertain. We don't know what happens to the Jodes. I don't know what will happen to me or to any of us. But I know this, like the turtle, we keep going. We may be knocked down, but our story isn't over. Because like the Jodes, we know survival isn't enough. Dignity matters, justice matters, because we are UUs. We believe another world is possible, another world is not just possible, it is necessary. Some days feel like too much, like the world is stuck in a loop of pain and injustice. But our story doesn't end here. There is a future, one we can reach for, shape and bring it to life. The past doesn't just warn us, it teaches us. People have resisted and they have won. Adults, this isn't just a job for the youth. You say the youth are the future, but without your support and actions, how can we create a future? Because this isn't a youth problem, this is an us problem. And youth, FYOV, find your own voice. So let's build bridges with hope, with the strength we share, with the quiet, stubborn truth that we still have power, that we still have each other, that we're still writing our stories. We might not know what comes next, but we are still here, and our story is still unfolding.
Thank you, Logan. Our story is still unfolding. And so the last question, is this in line with our shared values, What do our shared values call us to do? Is what we are going to leave you with today. Thinking about our response to this moment, thinking about what are we called to do? We talked about the realities of this moment. You got together and shared what you thought the biggest needs were, and then we sit in our values to say, what do our values as Unitarian Universalists call us to do? Carla, would you mind showing the image of the values, please? So remember, at General Assembly last year, we voted in new values that guide our work. And so as we think about how we are called to this moment, I invite you to sit and have this conversation about context, about needs, and about what our UU values call us to do and call us to respond. So as I said, many UU congregations across the country are engaging in this framework, and we are just dipping our toe in the water today. And you can take this framework to your committees. How many of you serve on a committee here? Many of you. They suggest put this at the top of your committee agenda. Have these conversations in small groups. Maybe one of you is inspired to lead a longer conversation after a service sometime or a Wednesday evening. They have a whole guide on the framework with videos and things like that to have these conversations so that we can coalesce behind a shared vision. So we are going to continue talking about these questions today. Thank you for engaging in this journey. I hope it doesn't end here as we move into the church year, starting with ingathering next Sunday. We need your voices in this conversation. We need you to be part of guiding where the future of this congregation goes. And as we've talked about, we're developing new ends statements this year, which are aspirational statements about the impact we want to make in our own lives and in the world. And who do we need to be a part of that? That was like all of us. Who do we need? We need everyone. That's right. Thank you for answering the call of love today and in the days ahead. Thanks for trying this on. Thanks for staying past the hour mark. Give yourselves a little pat. You did it. You all right? Please rise, embody our spirit. Thank you for your holy yeses, and join us in singing Answering the Call of Love. The words will be on the screen. Thank you all for this bold experiment of trying on this framework today. Thank you for answering the call of love. Will you turn to your neighbor and say, thank you for answering the call of love? And invite them to social hour.